Sam Bankman-Fried, also known as SBF, went from crypto world's hero to an overnight villain. Yahoo Finance's Alexandra Semenova joins us now to break down that journey. It's been an interesting couple of weeks for SBF.
Indeed it has, Dave. The former CEO of fallen crypto exchange FTX is now at the center of the biggest scandal in the industry's history. Sam Bankman-Fried founded hedge fund Alameda Research in 2017, shortly after graduating from MIT. In 2019, he launched FTX and rode the crypto bull market, scoring capital from giants like SoftBank and Sequoia Capital along the way. At the beginning of this year, Bankman-Fried's company had an estimated valuation of $40 billion. That's according to data from Crunchbase. He was bailing out other crypto firms, working with lawmakers on regulation, and praised for his altruism as he donated millions of dollars to charitable causes. Now he's facing investigation by U.S. regulators, signed his crypto empire into Chapter 11 bankruptcy, stepped down as CEO, and is believed to owe customers $8 billion in assets FTX does not have. Investors in his exchange included heavyweights like BlackRock, Sequoia Capital, and the Canadian pension giant Ontario Teachers' Plans bet its retirees' assets on his success. The 30-year-old once bragged that he could one day buy Goldman Sachs, and everyone seemed to believe it, from Wall Street to celebrities and even Washington, D.C. Bankman-Fried charmed regulators and due diligence teams, and while his company's balance sheet faltered. So how did he get away with it? Our next guest says that he saw this coming. Marc Cohodes, veteran short seller, joins us now on the show. Marc, what was it about FTX that drew your attention and made you suspect that something was wrong there?
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me. What drew my attention really was sort of everything. He was a bright, shiny object that the media held out as the second coming. The Cartoon Network, which I call CNBC, called him the JP Morgan of crypto. And for someone to be worth, I think at times $13 billion under the age of 30, those tend to be people who are very special. I know some special people and have known some special people in my life, and there was nothing about this fellow that I thought was special. So when the hype started building around him and FTX, I started playing back his interviews and things like that. And he talked in, I call it figure eights. He never made any sense. He never answered any questions. He never explained anything. His mentor, I mean, you just don't parachute into this business. He has no mentor. No one knew where he got his money for his kimchi trade, which is this the crypto arbitrage that he bragged about, that he's now admitted never really existed or happened. So it wasn't really one thing, it was everything. And you go to LinkedIn and you check who worked at FTX US, FTX International, or Alameda, and they were just a bunch of nobodies. So it wasn't really one thing, it was simply everything. And I'm not a Harvard guy, I'm not a Yale guy, I'm not a Stanford guy, but it's just when something doesn't make sense or something doesn't add up or is too good to be true, it tends to be fake or fraud. So that was really the starting point for me.
Yeah, Marc, and it's one thing for the media to be fooled, but Alex laid out the names: Sequoia, SoftBank, BlackRock. I mentioned the Miami Heat, Miami-Dade County, the Golden State Warriors, half of Congress. Democrats accepted $30 million in donations. How did all of those institutions, people that claim they did their due diligence, Miami-Dade County wrote a 42-page syllabus about FTX. How did all of them miss it?
Well, they missed it because the mere fact is they didn't do any due diligence and they didn't kick the tires. And we're living in a world of FOMO, of people fear of missing out. And I really fault Sequoia here, because Sequoia did zero work. And they basically did a round trip with SBF. And everyone thought that if Sequoia did this, it's good enough for them. And we're in a world and we're in an age where people don't think anymore. They just see monkey do. And if this guy's in it, that guy's in it. And none of these firms really have done any work on much. But we've been in a bull market. We've been in a free money environment. We've been in a time where people hear that crypto or coins, if you will, I'm not going to swear on this, go up 6,000%. No one wanted to miss out. But the mainstream media, specifically Bloomberg, I had this packaged up for them in July of everything, and they elected not to go with it because they said it would be, one, too much work, and two, if they started asking hard questions, they'd lose access. So, part of it is people are in such a hurry to throw money around and make quick decisions. They don't just stop and think it through. And back 500 years ago, I was a counselor at a boys' overnight camp, and the greatest man I've ever met, told me, he said, when all hell breaks loose, don't just do something, stand there and think things through. And no one thought things through here. They were just in a hurry to get on board. They saw Tom Brady, they saw Giselle, they saw Steph Curry, and they must have said, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And think of it this way. Tom Brady was paid with this worthless token, according to SBF, $650 million to be a sponsor of FTX. That's more than Tom Brady has made in his entire football career, by far, by a wide margin. So the money that FTX and SBF, which one they stole from customers and threw around, is extreme. So I think the media was paid. I think politicians were paid. Sponsors were paid. They were paid huge. So, why not get on board? Because the money was that big and promises were made.
Marc?
And the guy's a fraud and belongs in prison.
Marc, so sorry to interrupt you. I just want to get to something important here. You keep mentioning the role of the media. We've seen SBF in recent days go on a variety of news networks, talk to news outlets. What do you make of this press tour that he's on as he's being accused of mishandling investor assets?
That's a really good question, and it's a really good point. And there's two courts. There's the court of law, and then there's the court of public opinion. And SBF is so screwed in the court of law, he's admitted he's already fired one set of lawyers. What he's trying to do now is portray himself as this poor, out of control, under 30-year-old guy who just things got a little hot and steamy, and gosh golly gee, I managed to lose $10 billion. So a month and a half ago, he was the second coming and the smartest thing in the world. But now all of a sudden, he's just, he had these slips, if you will. But basically, he's a sociopath. And all of these frauds that I've discovered over my career or life, there's always been sociopathic behavior with the man at the top. Whether it's Lernout and Houseby or Wirecard or Valiant or Concordia or MediaVision or Novastar, all the guys at the top, you would believe them in a heartbeat because they sound so sincere or so wanting to help you, or they're so sorry, but they would sell their mother for 35 cents. So I think he's a sociopath. I think his lawyers have told him he's absolutely finished, that he's going to go to prison for a very long time, which I do believe, but it's going to happen slowly. But I think he's trying to, the same people who built him up, he's trying to go on his rehab tour. And I frankly think it's disgusting. I think it's horrible. People don't want to hear exactly what happened and how many people he screwed. They want to hear that, the girlfriend was a little out of control and they should have known better and things got a little quick and he took his eye off the ball. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, and I hate it. It's frankly, it's disgusting.
Apologize to the viewers for the language there, but Marc Cohodes, we appreciate your passion and your knowledge and your foresight there. Alexander Semenova, thanks so much for this as well. Love to have you back and talk about the future of crypto.